Hi, this is Julia Keller, juliakeller.co.uk. And thank you again for watching these videos. And again, we are on the third part of your course. So, I mean, it's amazing. You've made it this far. You made it through part one, which is all about eating healthy and what you put into your body. And part two, which is all about how you live and the lifestyle you lead and the things you don't do and the things you do to make sure that you age well, that your immunity goes well, and that you stay healthy throughout the duration of your life, because we don't value our health until we're kind of go in this situation as we are now, where we risk losing it. So in the third part, as you've probably seen already, it's all about thinking yourself healthy. It's all about thinking yourself youthful. It's about thinking yourself in all positive ways, because let's be honest, the way we think contributes a lot to our health. And this last bit, closing off this whole area of how we think ourselves, is a part that many people don't realize is so important, and that's thinking yourself worthy. And I especially left it kind of open, so that you can interpret what you mean by thinking yourself worthy. And Roz Thornton, wonderful speaker who is with us to talk about this, is going to help you to interpret it even more. Why is this important for health? So the thing is that as we age, we go through a lot of processes which make us less of who we think we are. Things go downhill in a way as we age. And they can go downhill, like I said in a lot of my videos before, the degree to which they go downhill is dependent on how we take care of ourselves. So it can go downhill very little, or they can go downhill a lot, depending on how we take care of ourselves. Now, the fact that things go downhill, I'm not being pessimistic about aging. I'm not putting aging down. It's a natural process that we all are going through all the time. Even if you're 7 years old, even if you're 7 days old, you are gradually aging. I mean, it's just natural. It's the thing that makes us, as humans, have our peaks, have our troughs, kind of grow and develop as people. And there are many wonderful things that happen as we age, not least of which is our conglomeration of all this wisdom and knowledge about life. And our confidence goes up. But things do happen, and we do, start to decline in certain ways. And no matter what age we are, the important thing is that we always realize how special and incredible we are as people. And the fact that we're aging should not be looked at as a negative, but more as a possibility. So Roz is here to talk to us more about thinking yourself worthy. It's something that Roz is very, very much an expert in. And she's going to first introduce herself and a little bit more about what she does with people and how she coaches it.
Hi, Julia. Thank you. Thank you for having me on here today. So I'm Roz Thornton. I'm the founder and director of Amazing Women Global, which is a coaching and training company. And I work mainly with women's empowerment. So I help women to improve their confidence, step into their power. I also help them to take the next level in their careers. And the third part is I actually help empower them financially as well. So we look after how they think about money and how they can actually start to bring in more money and abundance into their life. Because all of these things help with security, safety, freedom, and ultimately health. So I believe that if we are confident in what we do, if we do the right job for us, in other words, we're not doing a job that's making us feel depressed or down, and if we are managing our money well, then all of those things combined will actually help us to be healthier and age better as we advance in years. Because we have to think about, what are we going to do when we get to that age where we can't work anymore, or God forbid, if there was an illness, and we would be prevented from working. So it's really important, particularly as women, for us to really get to grips with, what are we doing now? What are we doing now in terms of managing our money, manifesting our money, but also thinking ourselves worthy of having those things. And if I can just tell you a little bit about myself, because my journey was one of, I'm the youngest of 8 children. I was born in a very poor family. There was a lot of domestic violence. And I came to London as a young woman And I didn't really know anyone when I moved to London. I didn't have any family here. Didn't I hardly had any friends. But I found myself going through many ups and downs throughout life. And it wasn't until I started to use the personal development techniques, some of the things that we're going to talk about today, some of the things that you, Julia, have been talking about in the previous weeks. It wasn't until I started to put all of these things together that my life came together, and I was able to then go from somebody who was always had what we call a poverty mindset to an abundant mindset, for somebody who was always kind of up and down with their emotions to having a very steady emotions, and also somebody who was always getting ill. I mean, I was never seriously ill, but I was always getting like coughs and colds, and my immune system was always down. Now I can't remember the last time I had a cold. I really can't. It was probably about 6-7 years ago, maybe. I just don't remember, and I very, very rarely get ill. And it's because I live in a world that I have created, and everything starts with our thoughts and our beliefs. So if you can kind of tap into how you feel about yourself, and this is something that I actually shared with my group today, and what I said to them was, just take a moment, take a really nice quiet space in your home, whether it be your office or whether it be a corner, or whether it be your a corner of your bedroom. I like to have a salt lamp because I love the energy that a salt lamp gives off. I have crystals here that help me. So this one is a black tourmaline crystal, and it's very, very good for grounding. And also, if you have like electronics around, so like we're always on gadgets and computers and things, then I love having black tourmaline around when I'm using the computer. And just take some time for yourself, for some self-care. And I think that's the most important thing, is finding a time in your busy schedule for yourself, for your own self-care, where even if it's just for 10 minutes, and even if you have to put it in your calendar, then I would say you need to take some time out for some self-care, and go to your special little corner of your room, whether like I said, or even candles are really nice as well. So find some time for self-care. And when you get to that point where maybe the house is quiet, and you can have those little 10 minutes for yourself, that's when you can center yourself and align yourself and center your thoughts, and just think about what you want for yourself. Don't think about what your family needs or what your children need, or whatever, but what your in-laws need. Think about yourself for about 10 minutes. And this, as women, sometimes we are conditioned to put other people first. So think about yourself. And when I try this exercise with them, a lot of them say, oh, I feel really selfish. I was like, no, it's just 10 minutes out of your life. And if you're able to take care of yourself, and improve your health and age well, you're in a much better position to take care of others around you.
So true.
So
So true. I love that you said that.
yeah. So it's so important. And as we're finding with this pandemic, and people who have gone down with the COVID, your health is everything. Because if you don't have your health, you can't do anything. You can't even get out of bed. You can't make yourself a cup of tea. And nobody wants to feel like that. No one wants to feel that they can't be independent if they want to be. So, we really have to look after our health and our immune system. So I always say to people to find that time for some self-care, and think about, what do I want? For everybody, it's different. So for somebody, for example, they could be wanting more equality in a relationship, for example. Somebody else, it could be, I want to bring more abundance, more money into our lives. For somebody else, it could be, I want a better job. Maybe you've lost your job because of the pandemic. I've been speaking to a lot of people recently who are out of work and having to apply for other types of job, or having to retrain, for example. So whatever it is that you want to prioritize bringing into your life, that's what you need to think about. Because until we know exactly what we want, it's really hard to start to bring that in through what we call the manifestation process. So really think about what you want, and another good thing to think about, if you're struggling with thinking about what you want from life, fast forward yourself when you're 90 years old. Imagine yourself being 95 years old or 90 years old, sitting in your rocking chair on your veranda and thinking to yourself, what's my life, thinking back through your life and thinking, what's my life been like? What have been my achievements? What have been my greatest goals? What have I left? What am I going to leave behind for my children and grandchildren? So if you imagine yourself as that 90, 95-year-old sitting in that chair, looking across at everything that you've achieved, and then think to yourself, what would it be? What would you be most pleased about? And that's a really good exercise for you to really think about what you want to bring into your life. Once you've done that, we now to get into how do we bring those things into our lives? So now, and the first thing to do is to write them down. Write them down, because we have so many thoughts. We have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts going through our mind every single day. And you need to order your thoughts. And so we write them down. And our thoughts can change every day. And you'll notice your moods sometimes can go up and down. So always write them down and write them down over a period of time. And you will start to see patterns. You'll start to, and write down how you feel, because then you will start to see what triggers your emotions going up and down. So if you know that every Wednesday somehow you're feeling down, what's happening on a Wednesday that's making you feel down? Is that when the mother-in-law comes down to visit? I don't know. Well, whatever. It just start to monitor how you're feeling and write these things down. And eventually you will start to see patterns about things that are in your life that you might want to change, things that you want to release and let go, and things that you want to bring in. So once we've done that, we can start to do the manifestation process. And that all the manifestation process starts with our thoughts and what we think about ourselves, how we have that internal dialogue, how we talk to ourselves. This is very, very important. So are you always talking down to yourself? Are you always calling yourself stupid? Are you always saying, oh, why am I so dumb? Why am I so stupid? We say those things to ourselves. We have to really start to monitor our thoughts and our internal dialogue. And that's something that they never teach us to do. It's something we're never taught to do. So once you start to take this time out to 10 minutes a day, really start to think about, how's my day been? What have I been most thinking about? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to bring in? Because it's all a process, the manifestation process, thinking yourself worthy. It's really starts with thoughts, releasing unhelpful beliefs and thoughts, and bringing in things that we actually want into our lives. And this is the very, very beginning of that process. So once you start to build up a pattern and you can see what the things are that you want to let go of and what you want to bring in, and you've got them written down, you can actually start to then formulate some goals for yourself. Yeah. So for example, yeah, go on. Sorry, Julia.
So do you suggest that clients write down the things they don't want as well as the things they do want? So I love your manifestation process, by the way. It's amazing.
So I think that they write down the things that they want, but also I think I would make a list of the things that you want to let go of as well.
Okay. And is there any kind of like ritual or something they do to get rid of, of the ones they don't want and to treasure the ones they do want?
Yes. So there is a little ritual that they can do, and I can explain that as well. So when there is a new moon, for example, which often happens around about the 14th or 15th of the month, that's a brilliant time to bring in the new. So that's a time where you would try to stand in the moonlight and actually just bathe in the moonlight if you can. If you can't get outside, just go near a window where you've got access to the moonlight and look at the moon and actually start to read out the things that you want from life. And a good time to let go of things is when we have a full moon. Okay, so and the full moon tends to happen about 2 weeks after the new moon. So you have a new moon round about the middle of the month, and then you get a full moon at the end of the month, and that's a really good time to release things. And
so what do they do to release them?
So that you can just read from the list and say, these are the things that I want to release from my life, and then you can tear up the list and throw it away, or you can burn it. Obviously, as long as you're in a safe environment to do that. Yeah, and you could do that in the light of the full moon.
So in the full moon, you take the things that you don't want.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm letting these go.
Yeah, and these are the things I'm letting go. Rip them up or burn them.
Or burn them. Yeah. Okay, if there's a safe place to burn them, you can burn them.
Yeah.
Or if not, rip them up. If you have your own back porch, burn them by all means.
Yeah.
You know, sort of fire.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Do you also burn the stuff that you do want?
Well, some people do. I don't personally. I just write them into a journal, and they're because they're the things when we think ourselves worthy. We have to do what we call a manifestation process, and as part of that manifestation process, it's a repetitive process. So you have to read out the things that you want to yourself every day, and I would say you would need to do that for about 21 days. So I don't personally burn, but I know some people recommend that you do. You read them out and then you burn them and you forget about them. But if you're looking to manifest something and think yourself worthy, so even if you're saying the things that you do want, and even if you're saying them quietly to yourself, you still need a reminder as to what they are, and repeat it every day. And do it for a minimum of 21 days, and you will see shifts. You will see changes. I guarantee you will see shifts. You will see changes. I mean, obviously, don't make them too outlandish and too grandiose, because then, you're trying to reach the impossible. If you're saying like, I'm going to be married to Brad Pitt in 21 days, then, how realistic is that?
Yeah, it has to be realistic.
It has to be something that's within your control.
So this is amazing. Let's just recap this so people can get this in like a clear 3 to 5 step process. Okay. So number one, they want to make sure that they take time for themselves every day, 10 minutes. Okay. Number two, in that 10 minutes, you imagine what you want your life to be like. What either by looking forward to when you're 90, thinking, okay, well, what I have liked to think about that I left behind for my relatives or whatever in my many years of living, whatever age you are at the moment. So that's one. It's so like imagine where, that's one way, or just imagine, going forward, what would you like your life to look like in 5 years, or, where do you want to be? Imagine what your life could be like right now. And, imagine that you're there, kind of thing. So many ways to manifest, let's say. So that's one. So you get an idea and you write down what you want. How big is this list of the things that you want?
Could be as big as you want.
Okay, so there's no, because when I do my I do a manifestation exercise I put into my first book, Attract Authentic Love, and I have their manifestation exercise to meet your ideal man. And I always say work with 10 points because it's finite. It's closed. It's like something you can, it's easy to work with 10.
So I think that what I would encourage people to do is to make a long list, but then you can always condense that list, because obviously you're not going to manifest a new man, new job, a new house in 21 days. So you write down the list of all the things that you actually want, and then look at the list again, and then you can prioritize and say, well, what are the things that I want to manifest, say, in the next 6 months?
Okay, so step 2 is you make this list. You write down all these things that you want, whatever you want. You look at it. Step 3, you look at it every day for 21 days.
Yes.
And you bring it about. You keep reading it over and over and over and over again.
But you just focus on one thing. So say for example, so if you have a list, you could have a list that says, I want a new job. Another point on my list, because I don't want a new relationship. I want to lose weight. Yeah. That's 3 quite huge things. That's 3 quite huge things.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to manifest all of those 3 things in 21 days.
Right.
So what you might do is you might choose one of those things. So you choose one, So let's just say the losing weight one. We're going to
focus on one. So step 4, focus on one thing.
On one thing out of that long list. So you've
Okay,
made a long list. So you've made a long list of all the things that you want to bring in, okay, that you've already thought about and you want to bring in for a healthier life and for aging well and to feel more worthy. So you've made your list. Out of that list, you choose one thing to focus on. So let's just, for argument's sake, because I know you're a nutritionist, let's say for argument's sake, we choose weight loss, okay? So we know that if we want to lose weight, we either have to move more or we have to eat better, yeah? And in an ideal world, we do both, yeah? Because obviously that's going to work better for us and manifest much quicker. So if you then choose losing weight, you know you have to change something. You can't just
focus on what. So you look at this whole long list for 21 days all the time, but then you choose one of those things on the list to really do in a realistic way. So you're not just expecting the universe to bring it, but you're acting. Let's say for me, it's, I want to make a certain amount of money from my business. So I have to every day in that same time do something to bring myself closer towards that achieving that goal.
So if you were to say money, so let's say you wanted to earn, I don't know, £5,000 in the next month, okay? So every day you would focus on bringing in £5,000. You would read out the statement that says, I am bringing in £5,000 in the next 21 days, something like that, yeah? And you would just read that statement over and over and over again. Yeah, you may develop other little mini statements that support that whole big statement. Yeah.
Okay, so focus on that one thing. You're reading out the statement, but you're also practically working towards it. So like if I have my clients say, I want to lose weight, that's not going to help if they're still eating crisps, cookies all the time.
So I want to lose weight would be the headline. Okay, if you like. And then, so that would be the main statement, but underneath you would have little mini statements that support the big statement. So you would have things like, I'm going to move more. I'm going to walk around the park every day, or I'm going to run around the park every day. Or you're going to say, I'm going to eat a healthy dinner every day. I'm going to bring in more vegetables, or I'm going to bring in more fruit. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to make myself a salad or a smoothie every single day, so
but then you actually do it as well.
Yeah. So you start bringing in these little mini statements, but for some people, they will start doing it straight away. But for other people, they may have to repeat it for a few days before they actually start to take some action. Yeah. So it's not something that necessarily you have to go out and do everything. But for some people, they may just read. It may be you just read the statements for a few days before you actually start to take action, but it will start to kick in after a few days of just reading the statement over and over and over again. And then and just monitor your thoughts, really focus on what is it how do you speak to yourself? If you're slightly overweight, are you unkind to yourself when you look in the mirror? How do you accept compliments? When someone gives you a compliment, how are you responding internally? Are you just sort of smiling and say, oh, this, someone says, oh, I really like your top, and you say, oh, this old thing, it's just from a charity shop, or whatever. You should own it and take ownership of the compliment and say, oh, thank you, yeah, I do look quite good, don't I? So just sort of absorbing positive responses and positive energy from other people, rather than sometimes we bash them away, don't we? We bat them away because we don't feel worthy ourselves.
So the first, it sounds like what you're saying is the first step towards feeling worthy, other than the manifesting, that's very important. It's to accept that we are worthy to receive these compliments, and not to kind of say, oh, like, oh yeah, thank you, it's a good hair day, but normally my hair doesn't look so good. It's not like we're worthy of the compliment. We can say, oh, thank you so much. We're like, you have to first agree that you're worthy before you can accept other people telling you that you're worthy.
Yeah, and in fact, that would be a good statement to have in your manifestation. So you must say, I am worthy. That could be your first, what we call affirmation statement. So as well as your manifestation process where you're trying to bring things in, you have positive affirmations that you can say to yourself. And all of these things take about 10 minutes. So you could make a list of positive affirmations. First one could be, I am worthy.
So list of positive affirmations. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's a really important one as well.
And
So
that will help you to kill the language that's working against you.
To help the internal dialogue that's working against you. Absolutely. Because a lot of this internal dialogue actually comes from our subconscious. And I don't know if you've covered that, Julia, if you're going to cover that in your course, conscious and subconscious, the majority of the subconscious mind thoughts come from us when we're very young, so around about the age of 7 or 8.
We talk a lot about
where
the stuff comes from.
So and a lot of that stuff is already absorbed in us and goes straight into our subconscious when we're very, very young and we're not really aware of it. So when these thoughts come up as an adult, we still don't know where they're coming from sometimes. So it's about rewiring our thoughts, rewiring our brain to support us in our journey going forward. And in order to do that, we have to support it with positive affirmations and this manifestation process. Another part of the manifestation process is visualizations. So to visualize something really vividly in terms of what you want. So sometimes our mind works better with pictures. Some of us are more visual than others. Some of us, our mind works with sounds, or, we're what we call kinesthetic. So we work with movement and touch. But a lot of us work well with pictures. So you could even get pictures of yourself so if your goal is to lose weight, you could get pictures of yourself when you were at a more healthy weight. Or you could get a picture that you just stick on the fridge. Sometimes that could help. Or you stick it up in your bedroom so that you see these images every, and that again, that helps to cement those thoughts, those positive thoughts in your mind. That's
do a vision board.
Vision
board is a brilliant way to. We do in my women's group. We do every January. We meet once a month, and every January we do a vision board together.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I guess this year we're doing it online, but normally we do it in person. But you can do a vision board. You can do a vision board on Pinterest. I mean, that's kind of Pinterest was to do something like that. You could do it. You can take we take a large piece of paper and we take a bunch of magazines and we start ripping out pictures. Of magazines, and you create a vision board. And you create mission statements.
And I have done that, and I tell you, it works. It's amazing.
Amazing.
It just works. So so you can just create vision boards, or just stick, just get a bit of board and just stick pictures on it. It doesn't have to be anything artistic and grandiose, and just stick pictures of the things that you want to bring into your life. And it's fantastic.
It's amazing.
So it's not one thing. It's a lot of little things, I would say, that make up the whole. So vision boards is one, visualizations is another, affirmations is another, and like I say, doing the manifestation, the writing down, setting the intentions at the new moon and the full moon, and just really thinking about your internal dialogue and what are you saying to yourself. I actually have a diagram. Can I share my screen? Can you give me access to share my screen?
1 second. Okay, do you have access?
Yeah, so I have
1 second. I'm just gonna.
Okay, so I have a diagram. Can you see that, Julia?
Yeah, it looks great.
So it's a really simple diagram, and at the top we have thoughts. So the thoughts that we think are very, very important in terms of our behavior, but also how we feel. So the emotions that we feel, and where are we feeling it in our body? Sometimes, do you feel it in your head? Do you feel it here in your heart? Do you feel it in your solar plexus? Where in your body are you feeling those emotions? Because the thoughts with the emotions together influence our behavior. So once we are able to track our thoughts and emotions, we can influence our behavior. And once we understand that, and once I understood this basic principle, I was able to start to shift my thoughts and monitor my emotions and then affect my behavior. So let's say, for example, I was upset about my weight, let's say, and what was my thoughts about myself? Oh, I'll just be really unkind and say, you know, you're so greedy, you're so fat. These are the thoughts. Look at the emotions. How does that make me feel? Obviously, it's going to make me feel down. It's going to make me feel sad. It's going to make me feel useless. It's going to, you know, tap into those emotions. And what do we do? And a lot of eating, as we know, is emotional. So what do we do?
Way more.
What do we do when we feel like that? We're actually going to then maybe eat something that's going to make us feel comfortable.
So we sabotage even more.
Yeah. So if we can rewire our thoughts and to think kinder thoughts about ourselves, that in turn is going to impact on our emotions, it's going to make us feel better. And that in turn, again, will impact on our behavior. So I just wanted to share that little diagram, because I think it's really useful sometimes to see a visual as to what it is we're talking about. And
Great diagram.
yeah, so just knowing the impact of your thoughts and your emotions and how huge that is in terms of your behavior, you can actually then start to change your thoughts, which will in turn change your emotions, which will then in turn change your behavior. And it will all, and with all the other tools that you're using, the vision boards, the visualizations, the affirmations, the manifestations, with all those other tools that you're using, as well as monitoring your thoughts, will help you to bring in what you want. So if it's getting healthier, it's aging better, you know, we know that
making yourself worthy of whatever it is that you need to feel worthy of.
You have
Are you worthy of love? Are you worthy of health? Are you worthy of, you know, aging well? Are you worthy of having your family be close to you? Whatever it is, you know, think yourself worthy. I left it open for a reason, because it's worthy of everything. You know, it's just worthy. You are a worthy person. You are a valuable individual. You are loved. You are, you know, cared about. So
and I think because of past hurts and past traumas, some people don't feel loved and they don't feel worthy, and I think that's where the rewiring of the thoughts has to come in. Sometimes we have to trick our minds into believing that before we will actually believe it.
Absolutely. And so with a lot of my with my clients before, my weight management client and my loneliness clients, one of the things I would do is I would have them, you know, you talked about visualization, run a wheel of a story in front of their minds, like when they would sit down and meditate or visualize. Once they had their list and they knew what they wanted, and they would sit down and they would visualize the life that they wanted to have, but with pictures all over the place and videos all over the place. There's no order. So it could be something happens when you're 20 and something else happens when you're 80. It doesn't matter what the order is. It's just having a bunch of scenes of the kind of things that you'd like to have seen in your life when you turn 90 or 100 or whatever age you come back from. And it's as if you're looking back, but you're actually looking forward, creating this wheel of life that you're living part of, and these memories. And you put a lot of emotion to these memories. And when they would find themselves crying during parts of the wheel, because there would be some emotional moments, that would actually, and the tears of happiness would actually help to more manifest this thing into their life. And I mean, I can't tell you the amount of clients just from my love coaching, which I haven't done for a couple of years now. I mean, I'm more focused on health coaching now, that got married off of just this manifesting. You know, it's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why, you know, visualization started with athletes many years ago, before we had television and videos, when we would, you know, record them and check out how they did and watch how they're running and learn from that. They would literally just visualize in their head a game or, you know, a race or a swim or whatever it is, over and over and over and over and over. And by seeing these visions over and over and over and over, they would be able to do their best when they're actually at the event.
And also just to say, I mean, speaking about athletes, I mean, this whole process, it's a process. It's not gonna be something that you're gonna see happen overnight. In 21 days, you might see a really small shift or a difference. It could only be maybe even a difference in your thinking. But it's the same as if you were going to the gym. You wouldn't go to the gym for a week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks and
I
go,
expect, yeah,
oh, I'm not going again, because like nothing's happened. I thought I was
exactly.
going to be, I was a size 16 and I thought I was going to be a size 10 after 3 weeks. It just doesn't happen like that.
No.
And it's the same with this. It's a process, and it's something that you need to, bring into your life as a daily practice, or every other day if you can. And like I said, it doesn't even take as long as a gym. It's like 10 minutes. And
I mean, it's really nothing.
yeah,
10 minutes
it's
is nothing. And
nothing. And
I always say it takes 3 to 6 months
yeah,
to
yeah,
make something really, to like
really,
really
yeah,
staple it in. To change a habit, it
yes,
takes about 3 months to then
yes,
kind of like staple that habit into you, like to
yes,
make this the new you, is
absolutely.
another
Three to
three
six months.
months. So that's
But I
three to
think,
six months.
but I actually think after 21 days, you will see a difference, even if it's even in your thinking or the way you are. I remember when I first started doing it, nothing major happened, but I changed because I changed my thinking, and people were coming up to me and saying, there's something different about you. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I was like, really? Can't think what?
I know,
So
yeah.
and it's crazy, but it's these things work. These things
It's
really.
amazing. No, these things work. I mean, look, there's a reason why
Mm,
Roz and I do this with clients
mm,
all the time, and we are
yeah.
from totally different, you know, areas that we work with
Mm.
clients, and we still do the same things,
Yes,
you
because
know?
it works. I mean, and I wouldn't do it if it hadn't worked for me. I mean, I got into a real financial mess when I was younger. I was able to come out of that. I was able to start to invest. I started investing in property, which helped me to become much more financially secure. I wouldn't have known any of those things if I had not have done this process. And also, you start to surround yourself with people who are of like mind and are doing the similar things. So you end up then filling your network with other people who are on the same level, of the same wavelength, of the
Mhm.
same vibrational, pull. And then together you start to work together to kind of help this process, and for things to manifest for you. So it's not even something that you end up doing alone. It's something, the more you do it, the more the universe is going to connect you with like-minded people, or
Absolutely.
people were always there, but you probably didn't
Absolutely.
notice them until you started to do this work, and that's how it works. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank
Mm.
you so much, Roz.
Yeah,
Roz is amazing. So,
I
Roz,
love
like
it.
everybody else on this program, is going to be offering a 25% discount for those of you that watch this,
Mhm.
to basically for anything, for her package, for her working with her one on one, whatever it is. And thank you so much. Again, guys, you can go to juliakeller.co.uk for a free 30-minute call if you want help on any of this. And I will offer, again, something at the end of all of this. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching Roz. Roz will let us know how to contact her, how people can find her. That will be on here. And thanks so much again for your time. Bye, guys. Bye,
Oh,
Roz.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Pleasure.